In the relentless arena of existence, where chaos reigns supreme and emotions often betray the mind, there exists an ancient path, a path not designed for comfort or idle contemplation. It is not paved with gentle affirmations or soft encouragements. It is a path forged in the heat of hardship and refined through the discipline of emperors and the resilience of enslaved philosophers. This path is Stoicism, but make no mistake, this is not about passive acceptance or serene detachment. This is about confronting the raw, unfiltered truths of life with unwavering courage. These are 8 brutal laws, unyielding principles that will challenge every illusion you've ever clung to. They will strip away weakness, dismantle self-deception, and rebuild you into something unbreakable. This is not a path for everyone, but for those who are ready, for those who seek true power, not over the world but over themselves, this is the way. This is the discipline of Marcus Aurelius. This is the crucible of Epictetus. This is the liberation of the soul through the chains of reality. And it begins now with the first brutal law. 1. The law of absolute control, the dichotomy of control. At the heart of Stoicism lies a brutal, liberating truth. Control is an illusion, except over ourselves. We spend our lives struggling to mold the world to our desires, trying to force outcomes, manipulate events, change people. But the Stoics knew the truth. The only thing we truly own is our mind, our thoughts, our choices, our attitudes. Everything else, fleeting, external, indifferent. Our health, our relationships, our careers, our reputations, these can all vanish in an instant, swept away by forces beyond our command. What remains? Our reaction, our integrity, our will. This law demands a ruthless surrender of the illusion of control over the external world. In its place, it offers something far more powerful, sovereignty over the self. As Epictetus wrote, some things are in our control and others are not. The moment we internalize this truth, we stop wasting energy on what we cannot change and begin fortifying what we can, our judgment, our character, our response to adversity. That is where true power resides. That is how we become unstoppable, not by conquering the chaos, but by mastering the mind. 2. The law of embraced adversity, premeditatio malorum. What if you prepared for disaster before it struck? What if you could face any hardship, not with fear, but with familiarity? Premeditatio malorum, or the premeditation of evils, demands just that. It asks you to visualize your worst fears, losing a job, failing publicly, the death of a loved one, even your own demise, not as a masochistic exercise, but as a spiritual rehearsal. By imagining misfortune before it arrives, you rob it of its surprise, its sting. This is the brutal practice of emotional immunity. It's the Stoic equivalent of battlefield training. Seneca advised, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." Why wait for catastrophe to be caught off guard? Those who rehearse adversity are not pessimists. They are warriors of the mind. They walk through hell in imagination so that when the fire comes, they do not flinch. In a world where misfortune is inevitable, foresight is strength. Brutal? Yes, but essential. 3. The law of unconditional acceptance, amor fati. To embrace your fate is not to resign, it is to rise. Amor fati, love of fate, is the Stoics' defiant embrace of whatever life brings, not just accepting it but loving it. This law is ruthless because it demands we stop resisting reality. It asks us to find meaning, even joy, in the setbacks, heartbreaks, and tragedies we once cursed. Nothing happens to you, everything happens for you, if you have the courage to see it that way. When you're betrayed, what did you learn? When you fail, how did you grow? When life breaks you, who did you become? Marcus Aurelius said, "Love only what happens, what was destined, no greater harmony." When we stop wishing life were different and start working with what is, we transform adversity into alchemy. This is the law of evolution through fire. Love your fate and nothing can stop you. 4. The law of impermanence, memento mori. Remember, you will die. Not someday, not far off in the distance, perhaps tomorrow, perhaps today. This is not morbidity, this is clarity. Memento mori is a call to live with urgency, to understand that everything is borrowed. Your time, your body, your loved ones, your life. Every moment is perishable, every breath is a countdown. Seneca wrote, "Let us prepare our minds as if we had come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing." This law shakes you from the stupor of routine and triviality. It demands you ask, what matters now? What are you putting off that must not wait? It forces you to speak the truth, forgive the grudge, take the leap, because the clock is ticking. And once you truly internalize your mortality, you become powerful beyond measure. For when you no longer fear death, nothing can hold you back from life. 5. The law of inner citadel, virtue as the sole good. What if all the things you think make life good, money, status, pleasure, even health, were in fact meaningless? Stoicism declares that virtue alone is good, that is, living with wisdom, courage, justice, and temperance. Everything else is indifferent, useful only if used wisely. This law is brutal because it strips away everything society tells you to chase. It demands a radical reorientation. Success is no longer about what you achieve, but who you are in the face of achievement or failure. Zeno, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, all understood that your true wealth is your character. It is the fortress no enemy can breach. When you root your worth not in what you have, but how you live, you become invincible. You stand in a burning world, untouched. 6. The law of rationality over emotion. You are not your feelings, you are the judge of them. This law asserts that emotions, especially destructive ones, anger, jealousy, fear, do not arise from events themselves, but from how you interpret them. As Epictetus said, we are not disturbed by things, but by the view we take of them. It is not the insult that hurts, but your interpretation. Not the loss that destroys, but your belief about it. The solution? Reason. This law is brutal in its demand for radical self-examination. You must dissect your feelings, question them, trace them to their source. You must learn to pause between stimulus and response and choose. Seneca analyzed anger like a scientist, not to kill emotion, but to understand it. The goal is not to feel nothing, but to feel rightly. To feel with wisdom, not impulse. In mastering your emotions, you master your world. 7. The law of action and duty. Philosophy without action is cowardice. Stoicism demands that you live your values even when it's hard. The law of action and duty says, know your role and fulfill it with everything you've got. Whether you are a parent, a soldier, a worker, a citizen, do it with honor, not because of reward, but because it is right. Marcus Aurelius did not seek rest or praise, he sought purpose. Even under the crushing weight of an empire, he acted with principle. He understood that to live rightly is to serve something greater than comfort. This law scorns laziness. It rebukes hesitation. It demands that you step into the arena over and over again, no matter the pain or fear. Action, not avoidance, builds the indomitable self. Do your duty. The world needs you. 8. The law of self-sufficiency, autarky. Finally, the law that crowns them all, self-sufficiency. True Stoics are content not because they have everything, but because they need nothing. Autarky is brutal because it forces you to confront your dependencies on people, on things, on validation. It demands that you find wholeness within, that your peace comes not from external conditions, but from your inner world. Epictetus, once a slave, knew freedom had nothing to do with chains. It was about wanting nothing outside your control. When you no longer need praise, luxury, or even companionship to feel whole, you become untouchable. This is the apex of Stoicism, to walk through life needing little, wanting less, and giving much. You become a storm contained in flesh, fierce, calm, and sovereign. These are not gentle teachings, these are brutal laws. They will not coddle you, they will confront you. They demand discipline, clarity, sacrifice. But in return they offer freedom, true freedom. Not the fleeting freedom of comfort or ease, but the eternal freedom of a mind unconquered, a soul aligned with virtue, and a heart brave enough to face reality unflinchingly. You are capable of this. The path is here. The laws are clear. The question is no longer, can you do this? But, will you? Embrace these laws. Forge the self the world cannot shake. Become unstoppable.